It's written in the stars, in the stars, in the scars. No matter what you take, you want it. What if I feel so bad?
Yo there guys, this is Cob, and this video is going to cover the perks Destruction Warlocks will be receiving in Warlords of Draenor. As I mentioned in my last video, Draenor perks are a new set of passive buffs that we will be picking up as we level throughout Warlords, gaining one random perk per level from level 91 all the way to 100. So that is 9 perks per class and per spec. Every spec in the game is going to have a different set of perks, and I feel this is going to make specs feel a lot more unique to one another when it comes to end game, which sounds pretty good. As I mentioned, I will be talking about the Destruction Warlock perks in this video, as it is of course my spec of choice, but the Demonology and Affliction passives will also be on screen if you're interested in reading those. And if you aren't a Warlock and are more interested in perks belonging to another class altogether, I have linked the MMO Champ article down below in the description, where you can find a full list of all of the perks available to every class in the spec. So the very first on the list here for Warlocks is a buff that will be available to all specs. It is the only perk that is available to all specs, and it is simply called Improved Demons, and it increases the damage dealt by your pets by 20%. I dare say for a destruction spec that this perk could end up being a little bit useless. Destro builds just generally favour the Grimoire of Sacrifice, and unless that changes in Warlords, we won't be making a whole lot of use for this one. So the first on the list of destruction specific passives is Enhanced Chaos Bolt, and this will reduce our Chaos Bolt's cast time by half a second. Now the first thing I thought when I saw this perk was that Chaos Bolts, if the same in Warlords as they are right now in Mr. Pandaria, will pretty much end up having 1.2 second cast times with the help of a backdraft buff, and if you choose to stack haste, you might even end up with 1 second cast time Chaos Bolts. This could be pretty insane, but before we have a party in the comments, there are a couple of things to consider here. First of all, the most obvious thing to give thought to is that Chaos Bolt might just be different in Warlords. It might have a longer base cast time, meaning that the Enhanced Chaos Bolt perk just isn't really a buff at all. That would be a little bit cheesy. Our Bolt of Chaos might hit less damage in Warlords to compensate for it being easier to get off with the cast time being lowered. But to me, the most probable reason for this cast speed buff has more to do with the removal of Fell Flame. I think that building Burning Embers is going to be a rather substantial pain in the ass in Warlords, at least compared to how it is right now. And to compensate for less embers in our pocket, our means of spending those embers has been buffed, so because we're going to have less of them, their value is going to be increased. I could be completely wrong here, but if I am right, I'm actually happy with this. Let me know what you guys think below in the comments. As always, I'm going to be skimming through and replying where I can. Next up, we have Empowered Immolate, and this is one of those perks that is kind of good, but we really won't know how good until we know what Immolate's damage shapes up to be when the expansion finally comes about, so it's a welcome perk, but nothing to go wild over. Improved Conflagrate is next on the list, and again, this is a percentage based damage increase. Just gonna have to wait for the expansion with this one as well. And then we get to what I think is a pretty interesting perk, and that is Empowered Incinerate, and this permanently increases Incinerate's crit chance by 20%, and this I really like. Destro right now feels like it lacks a lot of sustained DPS in PvP. Almost all of our significant damage comes from Chaos Bolts and Conflagrate charges, but having Incinerate beefed up with some extra crit makes it so that every now and then, if the RNG gods are with us, we could end up landing some pretty sweet burst even without using Chaos Bolts. In fact, stacking crit might actually become a thing, building up to 30% crit chance from your gear alone, and then having that boosted to 50% on Incinerates could actually be pretty legit, and that is something I definitely like to try out. And I also feel that this change is in place to give us some kind of increase to Ember generation now that Fell Flame has deserted us. The perk of Improved Ember Tap might support the point I made about Chaos Bolt, and if we have less Embers coming in, they should be more valuable to compensate for this. Chaos Bolt is easier to get off, and Ember Taps, as you can see here, will heal for 20% more with this perk. It's again all speculation, and maybe a little bit of wishful thinking. Next up, the Improved Shadowburn perk will, for some reason that I can't really fathom, increase Shadowburn's damage by 20%, as if it wasn't already the strongest execute in the game by quite a lot. Shadowburn is already awesome, and maybe the spell will change in some way in Warlords, but if it doesn't, I actually don't like this perk. I kind of don't feel like we need it, at least not in PvP, and I would have rather seen a different spell being buffed up in some way. Second last here, we have Enhanced Backlash, and this causes physical attacks on us to have a further 15% chance to proc with an instant Incinerate. This is fair enough, it's not too amazing. Backlash already seems to proc a lot as it is, and it actually can't proc more than once every 8 seconds anyway. If that was changed, and Backlash could proc without a cooldown, I'd be very excited for Warlords, but that is pretty much just a naive wish of mine that has arguably nothing at all to do with this perk video. And lastly, with Enhanced Drain Life, we get to generate Burning Embers with our Drain Life ticks. At first I facepalmed a little bit at this one, But thinking about it, if we get 1 chunk of Ember for every 1 tick of Drain Life, that could actually be pretty nice in some situations. So I won't slate this one too hard. I actually think it's potentially better than the Shadowburn perk in some ways. Let me know what you guys make of this one down below. So that is all for the Destruction Draenor perks, and overall I'm pretty happy with the addition of perks to the game, just giving you something to work towards while you level, as well as diversifying classes and specs when it comes to endgame. Again, a link to the article in this video can be found in the description, providing I for once remember to actually put it there, and go ahead and read up on that if you want to see the perks of your favourite spec, or maybe the specs of your alt characters. So I want to thank you all for watching, guys. Stay destro everyone, and I will catch you all in the next video.